and welcome to Family Worship Online. My name's Christine and it's great that you can join us today. This week we are continuing our series looking at Jesus' ministry according to the Gospel of Matthew, and this week we are looking at the story of the centurion's servant who was healed. We're going to be exploring a bit more about this story and looking at the faith of the centurion and the power and might of Jesus. So as we begin, I wonder, what is the strongest and most powerful thing that you can think of apart from God? We're going to have a scavenger hunt. Go and find one thing each that represents something really strong and powerful. When you found it, bring it back and then explain to the people that you're with why the item you have chosen is more powerful than theirs. When you've done that, we're going to replay the video and we'll stand and sing and worship God together.
God, you made a big blue sky. You made the oceans deep and wide. God, you made the trees so tall. Your love is bigger than it all. God, you're bigger than big. You're stronger than strong. You are mightier than mighty and louder than the song. Your love for me stretches farther than far. I can't imagine just how big you are, just how big you are. God, you made a big blue sky. You made the oceans deep and wide. God, you made the trees so tall. Your love is bigger than it all. God, you're bigger than big. You're stronger than strong. You are mightier than mighty and louder than the song. Your love for me stretches farther than far. I can't imagine just how big you are, just how big you are. God, you're bigger than big. You're stronger than strong. You are mightier than mighty and louder than the song. Your love for me stretches farther than far. I can't imagine just how big you are, just how big you are.
Okay, so we've had a little bit of a think this morning about powerful things. I wonder what was your item that was the most powerful that you chose and why you thought it was most powerful. And then in that song we've just sung, we sang about God being bigger than big, stronger than strong, mightier than mighty. Something's important about God and God's power, isn't there? But we'll be coming to that a bit later in our story. First, we're going to play a little game. So you're going to need to stand up because you're going to need to move from one side of the room to the other to cast your vote on which of the two things that I'm going to show on the screen you think are most powerful. There's different types of power, but there's going to be two images, and each time I want you to stand on the side of the one that you think is the most powerful. Are you ready? So the first is, which is more powerful, a lion or a bear? Lion or bear? Cast your vote, stand on which side you think. Which one have you chosen? Lion or bear? Well, the answer is a lion. because even though they're smaller than bears, they have a greater strength to weight ratio. So we think that lions come out as more powerful than bears. Okay, you get the idea. Here's the next one. Which is most powerful, a tornado or a hurricane? Tornado or hurricane? Stand where you think. Well, the answer is a tornado. Because although hurricanes are much bigger, tornadoes can get faster wind speeds, 300 miles an hour a tornado can go, compared to about 190 miles an hour for a hurricane. So we're going with tornadoes are more powerful. Okay, here's your next one. What's more powerful? Steel or spiderweb? Steel or spiderweb? Which do you think is the most powerful, steel or spiderweb? Well, surprisingly, the answer is a spiderweb. Spider's silk is 5 times stronger than steel when compared like for like. Isn't that incredible? Okay, here's your next one. Which is stronger, a crocodile or an alligator? Crocodile or alligator? Which is stronger? Which is more powerful, crocodile or alligator? The answer is a crocodile. If you go by jaw pressure, so the power in the jaw of each of these two animals, a crocodile's jaw pressure is getting close to double that of an alligator. So that's why we've gone for crocodile being more powerful. Okay, here's your next one. Which is more powerful? An Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5? If you know anything about gaming, which one do you think is most powerful? An Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5? The answer is a PlayStation 5 has a more powerful processor, so it's a different kind of power. It's to do with computing power, but a PlayStation 5 has a more powerful processor than an Xbox Series X. Okay, here's another one. Which is more powerful? A clay brick or a concrete block? Which is more powerful? I think what do we mean by power there? Which is more powerful, a clay brick or a concrete block? And the answer is a concrete block. Concrete block can withstand much higher pressure than a clay brick. So if you were to squeeze it or put pressure on it, a concrete block comes out stronger and more powerful. Okay, and here's your last one. Who is more powerful? Superman or Spider-Man? What do you think? Go and stand next to the one you think. Superman or Spider-Man? Who's more powerful? Well, the answer, we reckon, is probably Superman. Superman can knock out planets, can shoot lasers from his eyes, is generally stronger, physically stronger than Spider-Man. So if you go by that measure of power, then we get Superman coming out on top. Well done. I wonder how you got on. Hopefully you enjoyed that game. We're going to have our story now.
The Romans were very powerful. They had conquered many countries with their strong armies, and their soldiers kept tight control. In fact, the country where Jesus lived was controlled by Roman soldiers, and one of the most powerful types of Roman soldiers is a centurion. A centurion leads other soldiers and tells them what to do. He has the authority to tell them to march up a hill or march down a hill, and they have to obey him. Now one day, in the town of Capernaum, a centurion went to ask Jesus for help because there was actually something the centurion had no power over. Their conversation went like this. "Lord, my young servant lies in bed, paralyzed and in terrible pain. I have no power to cure him. Please, can you heal him? I beg you." "I'm really sorry to hear that. I'll come to your home and heal him. Let's go. Lead the way." "Thank you, but I'm really not worthy to have you come to my home. but I know that if you just say the word from right here, then he will be healed over there. I know how authority works because of my job. My boss has authority over me and tells me what to do, and I have to obey him. Also, the people who work for me have to obey what I say because of my authority over them. I have faith that it's the same with you, Jesus. I trust in you, and I have faith that you have the authority and power to heal anyone, anywhere. Wow. Did you hear that, everyone? He shows more faith in me than any of you lot, and he isn't even an Israelite. Go back home. Because you have believed, he has been healed. Thank you.
We heard in the story today of how powerful the centurion was. He was so powerful, if he said to one man, come, then he came. If he said to another, go there, do this, do that, he did it. The centurion was in charge of 100 men in the Roman army. He was a powerful commander. He was someone who was used to getting his own way. And yet he knew when his servant was ill, he was powerless. There was nothing that he could do to help his servant. But he had faith. He knew the person who he had to turn to for help, the person who could help and who was more powerful than anyone or anything else was Jesus Christ. So he went to Jesus straight away. He called to Jesus to heal his servant. And yet the centurion's faith was so strong that even when Jesus offered to come to his house to heal his servant, the centurion said no. All you need to do is say the word, and I know that my servant will be healed. What incredible faith. I don't know about you, but I find that quite a challenge. What incredibly strong faith the centurion had to know, believe and trust that Jesus could heal his servant without being anywhere near him. So I've got a pause question for you now. We are called today to have faith and trust in God. So what can we do to have faith in God? How can we have faith in God? centurion trusted and had faith in God, as Christians today, we too are called to trust and have faith in God for the small things and the really big things as well. So now we're going to take some time to pray. You might like to pause the video while you do this and think about some of the headlines that have come across in the news this week. Think about some of the things that are going on with your family, your friends, in your school or work lives, and offer those things up to God. What is it that you would like to see God do in these situations? How can you pray to God to ask Him to move powerfully, to bring His healing, His comfort, and His loving touch to those who are struggling at the moment? We've also got some follow-on activities that you might like to do after that. You might like to add your next map pin to your map that we are building up over these next few weeks. So if you haven't started that yet, you can download it from our website. And if you have, just add this week's map pin to your map. You may also like to make a card for someone who is struggling, someone who is having a hard time at the moment, perhaps someone who's feeling ill or who's struggling with their mental health, and send that to them, perhaps with some kind words, a thought, or perhaps even a Bible verse to encourage them at this time. So pause the video, have a go at some of those activities, and let's pray together to finish. Dear God, thank you that you are a loving and powerful God. Thank you that you are more powerful than anything else in the whole world. Lord, we ask that you would come and work powerfully in these situations that we've thought about and talked about this morning. Help us to trust in you and have faith in you more and more every day. Amen. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.